What makes all of you confident that professional soccer will work in Grand Rapids? And I guess what that answer will be, but field that.
Who wants to go first? Well, we've had trial runs at this in the past. There have been other semi-pro teams, but most importantly, I think it's because West Michigan is sports friendly, and with the success of the Griffins, success of the Whitecaps, success of now the Rise, and other pro sports teams, we believe soccer is just a logical fit for that, and it's a universal sport.
Is this the end goal, or do you collectively see Tier 1 MLS franchise being in the future, even though we're seeing way too far ahead of the 2027 year?
That'd be a long way ahead. Right now, we're just focusing on what we have, and we think right now it's just the business league is the best fit for Grand Rapids. And we think it's going to just be a great addition.
I think it's important to mention, too, obviously, as well as next year, it's hard to let that kind of question, is that a lot of the names are going to be recognizable, right? A lot of these teams are going to be teams that you will recognize from MLS. How important is that when building the youth squad and kind of building a fresh team to be able to go up against teams that are recognizable from an MLS level?
It gives you credibility right away and an understanding that people bring to the equation, and so it's going to really sort of kickstart the whole process.
Because the sport of soccer or football is not new to this entire area, what have you guys learned collectively from the Grand Rapids history, and how will you incorporate that history, that franchise, into this arrangement?
One of the most important aspects of this team to be successful is to reach out into the communities and into the youth programs. Getting the youth involved, getting the support from the communities is going to be critical for the success long-term of the team.
And David, we're still stretching a little bit as to when will we kind of sort of expect the team name colors to be around, to get a window idea of when.
That's a very good question. We will, in the next couple of months, be announcing that. Obviously, we're working on it now, and we haven't really decided team name and how we will go about that, but we're working through the colors and the process and all that. So you can expect to see that in a couple of months.
Is there serving any public contest, anything of that sort?
We might do that. We did that with the Griffins. We might do that again.
Charles, most of the league obviously is affiliated with major MLS clubs. Where does West Michigan fit in? Is it going to be independent, or is there plans for affiliation?
This is an independent team, and one that we're very proud of. And as a league, couldn't be more excited to welcome these two families and this city of this region into MLS Next Pro. And I think this project speaks to where we are and where we're headed. And when we think about how this team is going to come together, how it's going to be built from the community on up, and who they're going to be playing against, what you're going to be seeing in Amway Stadium in 2027 is the stars of today and tomorrow competing against the top young players from around the country and around the world. And for the fans here in Grand Rapids, that's going to be very exciting.
Obviously, this league grew over the last couple of years to have so many franchises, not just affiliated with the big ones, but also instead independents.
Yeah, we're making great progress. This is our 6th independent team. We have several more that are in the pipeline to be announced in the early part of 2025 and beyond. But in many ways, we're just getting started. We have an expansive vision for this league, which over time, once we get to scale, will include potentially a 2nd division and the 3rd division that we have now. And then you can get into really creative competition formats and new concepts, all geared towards raising the level of the players and the coaches and everybody involved.
So given the independent nature of this franchise so far, the 4 of you in your roles, how difficult will it be just to kind of lay the line, start this franchise through those lens? And what is on the checklist for you to start discussions with the league about going to become an affiliate teams?
I can take that. I don't think there are any plans for this team to become an affiliate. This is an independent team. So as we think about this group, this ownership group, these families building a club, well, sports are different. Hockey and soccer are different. They've done it before, and we're very confident that they're going to go through the right process and build something special that's long-lasting, that has fan and community engagement, and that the delivers in every way for this community and its fans.
Dan, David speaking of which, this is not your first franchise working together. It's worked so well. Keeping your involvement in the other franchises.
It was a natural, I think, evolution of our relationship in that respect. And we're just glad to be doing something together again.
It's been fun. The tournaments have worked out very well, and it's a casual get together when the arena was being built, and we said, well, you know, we need a team to put in there. The concept came for soccer here in Grand Rapids, so we got together and said, well, we're going to need a team there. We might as well do it again, and we've enjoyed it very much working together with the Griffins. Obviously, we're together in other areas too, but the sports has been fun, and now with bringing the next generation in has made this even more special for David and for me.
How many games per season and how many at home?
The current footprint is a 28-game regular season, 14 at home, 14 away. I was just asked about this earlier while we were inside. We're constantly evaluating our schedule and our competition format. There's work being done now at the enterprise level around how the future of MLS and MLS Next Pro is going to evolve. Nothing is more important than our schedule and our competition, and I could see it evolving over the next number of years as we look up to 2027 and beyond.
What sort of attendance are we projecting per game or over the course of the season?
Well, we're going to do our very best effort to make sure that the stadium's filled. We believe that we've got the capacity to be able to do that. We believe West Michigan has the capacity and the demand to do that. And when the stadium was designed, it was designed specifically at a certain level. We could add more over time seats if we need to, but we think that the size that it's at right now is an optimum size for us to begin this endeavor.
I imagine part of that might be like ticket price. I heard a lot of that in earlier community feedback sessions. Are you guys talking about what that could look like, even though this season isn't projected to start until 2027? Is there talks of making that like affordable for teams?
Our initial thoughts are to make it accessible for a wide variety, and so yes, ticket price will be important. There'll be options at every level. You'll have everything from premium all the way down to general, but the ticket price will be, I think, the determining factor in how many people we can put inside the stadium.
Comparable to like a Griffins game? Or?
We always strove with the Griffins to make it affordable for families, and we will have that family-friendly atmosphere that we've strived very hard to maintain with a hockey team as well.
How did we settle on MLS Next Pro as the lead partner here? Going back a little ways, USL was in the mix for like a Champions League back in the destination asset study that was done along 2016. So how did MLS end up on the radar?
Well, fortunately, a couple of years ago, they came up out of the radar. I mean, they didn't exist when we first started looking around, and then over the course of time, they did. And I think as we looked around at the options and what the league represented and how MLS Next Pro was positioning itself and how their expansion plans were positioned and affiliations and all that, they became the logical choice for us and for West Michigan.
Overall, we already had a relationship with MLS individually. We did for MLS teams as, you know, minority partners in it. And so it was for us, or just because we had that familiarity and that connection for us, that was the core piece of the puzzle. And so when the way to do it and Lost Net Pro came around, it really settled it very, very nicely for us.
Charles, just so that soccer fans, however new to the game they are, understand the WWE is set up right now, the expert is set up. Can you explain independent versus the affiliate feature, just so that people see it? How regular season play, postseason play would work, what they work to kind of familiarize themselves with the different qualities that we bring out this team are based on 2027.
Of course. So clearly MLS Next Pro as a league is affiliated with Major League Soccer. It's our version of the AHL or the G League for those who are for AAA baseball, for those who are following other sports. But the league itself, MLS Next Pro, is a distinct league. It's a distinct competition. There's 29 teams that are not in MLS that are competing in MLS Next Pro. 27 of them today are affiliated with MLS teams. 2 of them are independent. The number of independent teams will grow. The number of affiliated teams will grow. We have 30 teams in MLS starting next year, so there'll be several more that will join from that perspective. But it's a distinct season, a distinct playoff, a distinct champion. And we look forward to celebrating those highlights here at Amway Stadium in Grand Rapids, because we know that this team will compete at the highest level and will be playing for championships from the start here.
Bill Salamillo with it. Are we talking future players and Buster Construction? Usually we have those high college prospects, though, or veterans looking to get themselves back into NLS, or a group of players that I can mention.
Yeah, the profile of the player varies. What you'll typically see is the best young talents from around the country and around the world coming through our league. Over the last, we just finished our third season. We've already had over 120 players coming out of MLS Next Pro sign first-team contracts in MLS or be transferred abroad to top teams around the world. So the system is working, but what you're also seeing is the best young players coming out of our academies getting their first professional opportunities in MLS Next Pro. And while I think there's going to be more news about that here in Grand Rapids in the coming weeks and months, I think you'll see that dynamic here as well.
Cole, there's obviously a great passion for soccer with not just at the Rice facility like UNCs, but also fans. Remember the Grand Army that you used to cheer on URSC. How important is this range.ac connect with that fan base to draw passionate the supporters, allow cheering sessions like that in the future?
Well, very important, I think. Obviously, GRFC was one of the first when it comes to professional soccer at Grand Rapids. It kind of laid the foundation for us to come in and kind of make an impact on the community. But altogether, I think it's important that we get all sports fans out there. Everybody in Grand Rapids, whether you're a sports fan or not, to be honest. This is something that we want to continue. Same thing with the Rise. We call it the Rise Griffins. We want to continue to bring this community together and have different opportunities to do so. And we think soccer, as Dave mentioned earlier, it really is an international sport if you really think that it's capable of doing that.
Christian and Cole, does that make you guys both excited as well about bringing a team like this with this type of prestige? Plus conversations you can have with prospective students, like universities across West Michigan and such. This is going to make those universities now increase their pro ratings. Is it just exciting to be able to have conversations with young talent across and say the pathway to pro begins here in West Michigan?
I mean, absolutely. Yeah, we've seen it with Griffin, we've seen it with other sports franchises that Grand Rapids continues to be a destination for young athletes that want to come through, make not only to evolve their game, but also make an impact on the community. And that's really cool for people to see.
This is what we understand the ownership stake. Is it all for ownership, or is there bits? Just so we understand.
Well, to what wall? The two families, so Dan's family and my family. And that obviously we are the primary owners. Dan's a minority side of that, but between the two families, we all franchise.
Sorry, but you can cross the shows. Anything else?
A few more questions.
What investment did it take to get this up and running? How much are the families and the co-owners or the owners investing to make this happen?
We'll find out at the end. A lot of time and effort so far.
Yeah, the way we think about it, investment is holistic. It's not just about the team or stadium or startup costs. It's all of it. And these families have come together to make a significant investment of their time, their resources, their energy, their social and political capital, and it's going to have a long-lasting impact. And they're just getting started. They're going to be building a club, hiring front office staff, hiring technical staff, and then hiring players. So it's a meaningful investment. It's a long-term investment. And it's one that will have a really positive impact on Grand Rapids.
So are we able to say what that would be, Ben? Range of, we know about stadium costs and all that, but just about investment dollars for...
Yeah, it's not something we talk about publicly.
It is big to the economic element and path to expect this very many people potentially coming to the games.
I think it's going to be tremendous. If you look back at when the arena went in and where the arena went, that neighborhood was pretty blighted. And over the next decade, we literally created, I call it the entertainment district around the arena. And everything became not only rehabilitated, but became a destination beyond just going to arena for events. I believe the similar impact will happen here on the west side. This will become an anchor that a lot of other businesses will be driven off of. You're already starting to see it come down Michigan Avenue on Bridge there a little bit. You're starting to see some of the other areas around here start to take notice about this. YNCA next door and other things. I think this will be a tremendous economic driver for this side of the city.
Which teams beats
Home games are decided by the team, so it could be.
Is it 99 abilities?
No, typically Saturday nights. You could have games on Friday nights. You could have games on Sunday afternoons. You'll have some midweek games.
If you got a favorite day, let us know. Today.
We'll see. Will be the $2 beer show house.
With this being a kind of franchise, is there a pathway for some of the Q's converters to your punter to us?
Well, certainly. The week in and week out, these players will be competing against other teams that are in MLS and being scouted by MLS scouts, coaches, and technical staff. So they're going to be in the spotlight every week in our competition. And if a player who's coming through from Grand Rapids, coming through whatever academy system they have here, and then on to their first team and competing in MLS Next Pro, and they're good enough to make it to the next level, they will not fall through the cracks. And I would not be surprised that in the next number of years we're going to be seeing players from Grand Rapids on our national teams in the near future here. The national teams now are being powered by the players coming from MLS Next and MLS Next Pro, and that's slowly going to continue to grow in the years to come.
Other season comps, Senator Super, like FC, British here, or both players playing trade season. This was the key, then
It just depends on how good the player is. If the player's good enough to play in MLS, they will end up in MLS.
We've seen sort of the development of the stadium happening publicly. We think the news on this. Can you talk about the genesis of like bringing these talks of bringing MLS here? When did these start? Did these start back at the same time we started talking about doing the stadium? Did they predate those, or was it a little bit later? And just exactly what did it take to get to this moment today where you could announce?
Talk about that, Fred.
Yeah, I think originally when Grand Action hired the firm to look at the infrastructure that our current city was missing comparatively to other bigger cities, and they came back with that list, and we saw that a soccer stadium was in that. That was the initial talks that I believe Dan and my dad, they started getting together and saying, we could do something there, the team, and we work with the community and the local officials and all that. We could do something really special. So it was about around the time that began.
Is there a timeline for hiring the head coach? You started your players? Yes, I was going to start again.
I think we'll sit down with the team and talk about the startup timeline. And there's a pretty we have a lot of experience in this area. When I started MLS, we had 19 teams in MLS. We now have 30 teams starting next year. When I started, we didn't have MLS Next Pro. We have 29 teams playing now. So we've seen how different teams have done it to great success. I think it's really positive that this club is gonna have time to get organized and hire folks the right way and be really thoughtful and do searches for their team president, CEO, business staff, technical staff, and the coach of players. And we're already getting calls from around the league and from around the world for folks who want to be connected to this club, and I think they're going to have a lot of options to choose from.
Well, there we go. Expansion transfers. They developed last year.
MLS Next Pro is different, so they're able to recruit and sign players in a way that's different from MLS, and they have a lot more flexibility for members.
Back to your other question. So, obviously, if you've got a firm start date, which is going to be 27, you kind of back up from that. Our goal as team owners is to make sure that when we hit the field, we hit it with the best possible product that we put on the field. And so we want to take our time, do it the right way, as Charles mentioned, make sure we get the top quality people in place and not feel rushed about having to put together the final product.
And we're very fortunate. We had the same opportunity with the Griffins. We had that same ramp-up time. So we have the opportunity and appreciate MLS Pro Next, their history, their ability to guide us along the way. And so we will be relying on them, as Charles was talking about, to help the process move forward in that kind of fashion.
How's salary range for MLS types of railways?
There's actually there's a wide range because what you're seeing is teams like Crown Legacy taking advantage of the system that we've put in place, which provides our teams a lot of flexibility, and they've signed multi-million-dollar players who have brought young talents from Croatia and other countries, players who have MLS potential, and then there's players that are more up and coming or coming straight out of academies or through college. So there's a wide range, but we'll be working with the team on making sure that they're competitive from that perspective as well.
How fans spoke to your SSRSU or your rest of years?
Well, we have a lot of different social medias up right now that you can tap into to get more information and learn more about the team, the league, and to support us.
What's their size at MLS Next Pro? So the other cities that have teams with a similar size to Grand Rapids, is that kind of how it works with whether you're MLS Next or whether you're the bigger division?
In terms of the type of city that we're in?
Yeah.
Well, the other independent teams, as an example, and this is just the beginning, is in Chattanooga, in North Carolina, in Cleveland, in Connecticut, and in Jacksonville. So those are the 6 independent teams that are currently part of the league. And then the next wave of teams will be in similar size or bigger markets as well. But we have a lot of flexibility as to how we roll out our expansion plans, and it really comes down to 3 main criteria. The strength of the ownership group, and I think what's happening here in Grand Rapids speaks to that. The stadium plan, and again, with Amway Stadium, you have a world-class stadium that's going to be coming online. And then the market itself, and I think going back to one of the questions around, how do you think the fans will support this team? We've done a lot of, as you can imagine, we've done a lot of research as it relates to what's happening here from a youth soccer perspective, soccer participation, soccer ratings, what people are watching on TV week in and week out. And Grand Rapids is one of those cities that is high across the mark. And there are other cities that are like it, so we're looking forward to engaging with them as well.